Welcome back to the Atypical Hunter podcast. I'm Chris Begbie, and with me, as always, is a man who some say can regenerate faster than Wolverine himself, the amazing Kyle Mork. On this episode, we talk about the last month or so of time that we've spent hunting, and we apologize because it's been about that long since we've recorded an episode. We figured that we would rather be in the woods than talking about being in the woods. So again, we apologize, but just something had to give in our schedules, and it ended up being this. So in this episode, we kind of recap what happened for us over the last 40 days or so, the good, the bad, the stupid, and the ugly. And there's a lot of learning experiences that we can say that we've had, to say the least. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of that, though, I do a review of the Sitka Gear Fanatic Jacket. So if you're looking to purchase a new jacket for the late part of the season coming up, I would highly suggest listening to the beginning part of this podcast episode. And as always, if you can like and subscribe, that really helps us out. Happy hunting. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Sitka Gear Fanatic Jacket that I have had for about a week or so, and a little bit of my review about said product. To start, it is extremely comfortable and extremely warm. I've been wearing it, and we've had some extremely cold temperatures here in northern Illinois, especially for this time of year. And I can say it keeps you very toasty. I typically wear a base layer and then, a heavier shirt, maybe a sweater or a sweatshirt, and then throw the Fanatic jacket on top of it, and I've been warm down to about 11 degrees outside. So it's done a great job in keeping me warm. The biggest thing this year with the Fanatic jacket is that they're saying it keeps movement a lot more quiet than previous years, and especially compared to other jackets. I can definitely attest to that as well. It's super quiet, especially when moving around in the tree stand or turning, or you brush up against something. It's extremely muffled because of the Berber fleece that they have in the important areas of the jacket, not only to keep you warm, but to keep you quiet. So really appreciate that. I mean, I was wearing another brushed polyester jacket earlier in the season, and it is twice as loud as the Fanatic jacket is. So they really hit the nail on the head with that one. The pockets are great. They have a lot of space in the hand muff area for phones or keys, or keeping your climbing strap or whatever you might need it for. I don't use it personally because I have the incinerator hand muff, which is where I keep my hands and my hot hands that I keep in there to keep my fingers nice and toasty. But I could definitely see it being a good place to keep your hands and keep your stuff warm in there. The other pockets that they have are specifically for rangefinders or grunt tubes, and the pocket's good size. The only thing I would say about that is it has a magnetic kind of contraption that keeps the pocket closed, and I don't think that's strong enough to keep it closed, really. I've had a couple of occasions where I've had it flopping around because the magnet isn't strong enough to keep the flap closed there. So I would definitely suggest to Sitka to either make that one of their quiet buttons that snaps a bit more firmly, or to make the magnet stronger, or maybe add another magnet in there to make that a little bit stronger. The way it zips is really cool. The diagonal zip that allows the room for the hand muff to be in there. It's a little weird getting used to in the beginning, zipping something diagonally up to your neck, but once it's on, you don't notice that at all. And if you do want to let your collar hang a little bit, they do have that magnetic clasp that allows the collar not to flap around and kind of secure down, which is a nice feature. I use that when I'm if I'm hot or getting to the stand and I have the jacket on, or if I'm climbing up and down for whatever reason. It's a good way to not flop around like a gypsy and to have that locked down. So that's a great feature. The best thing, in my opinion, other than the sound improvement is the way that they have the jacket attach and detach from a harness. You don't have to take the jacket, or you don't have to take your harness off to get the jacket off, which is awesome because the previous jacket I was wearing has a hole for your harness, which is great, but you have to have the harness on the whole time because you can't take the jacket off, or you have to have the jacket on the whole time because you can't take that off while you're attached to the harness. So this feature is really cool. It has a nice little clasp that opens and closes at any time. So if you're getting too hot, I know when I walk into my stand I get really hot, so I try not to wear the jacket too much while I'm doing that if it's a longer walk. So I'll carry that on my stand, and then once I get into the stand, I'll put the jacket on over top of the harness, and it's really easy to get that on and attached, which is great. The sleeves are really cool on the jacket. I'm right-handed, and I have the right-handed Fanatic jacket, and I noticed the sleeve is a little bit shorter on the right hand, but then it has this internal sleeve that comes out further, which is really great to put your release bracelet on, which is great. So it's not super bulky where your release would be, whereas on the left-hand side, the outer sleeve comes all the way down and gives you that warmth. But on your right-hand sleeve, that wouldn't make sense because you have your release on there, so it gives you a good area to secure that without having a bunch of bulk on the end of your sleeve, which is great. The other thing that they mentioned this year for the Fanatic jacket is the burr-resistant material that they have in certain areas. I don't know if it's burr-resistant or not. I just picked off 25 burrs from my latest romp through the woods in there. Maybe it's definitely more resistant than the Berber fleece part is, so that's great. And maybe that's what they're talking about, but you still collect burrs. I wouldn't say this jacket is one to go traipsing around the woods in, or any sort of still hunting or spot and stalk or anything like that. It's a great tree stand jacket, but that's all I would recommend it for. If you're going to be going through briars or an area with burrs, I would wear something a little bit more resistant to snagging and burr collection. But overall, I would give this jacket probably an 8.5 out of 10. There's always room for improvement. Like I said, the magnets that hold the rangefinder and grunt tube pocket closed, I think, could be a bit stronger. Which it sounds like an easy fix that they could probably do that next year. But overall, the jacket is super warm. I'm really excited about it this season. I'm going to be wearing that probably the whole rest of the season now that it's so cold in here. But I would definitely give it a look if you're in the market for a new coat for the winter. The pattern is pretty badass, and I definitely highly recommend it. But if you have any questions and want to reach out, feel free to reach out over Instagram or email, and I'd be happy to talk about it with you. All right, now for the actual episode. Enjoy. We're about a month in now. Maybe a little more than a month in, I guess. Yeah. It's been an interesting season so far.
I know, October and November were definitely different. How was your October? Let's start with that.
Excuse me. October was kind of a comedy of errors, I would say, and figuring out what I was doing wrong most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I was still doing things wrong, but it was more what am I doing wrong with my setup and access and clothes and figuring all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Like what I needed and what I'm not needing to bring and all that junk.
Yeah. I think especially for your first season, like you definitely, October was a good time. The more and more I'm looking into it, October is a good time to figure all that stuff out. So when it comes to November and the rut, frustrating doesn't get any less frustrating.
And I wonder if I didn't see many deer in October because it was October and it was warm most of the month, or if it's because I was just a buffoon and was making way too much noise and wasn't setting up in the right spots. And I think it's probably the latter. It's probably the...
It's a continuum of a couple different things. It's never just, I mean, you're an MBA, you're school for MBA, it's not one factor that controls everything.
Yeah.
So,
but it's just a lot of things I needed to figure out, and as I've been figuring them out, like even now, there's things that I'm changing around, and I'm sure that'll always be the case. But I've been seeing more deer now, so I don't know if that's a factor of the month or a matter of knowing where to go more and how to set up quietly and that sort of thing.
I think it's a matter of knowing where to go, because every time we go out, we do some small part of scouting, a little bit. Especially you found all those spots this last time, and starting to figure out like patterns and everything. Granted, it's the rut right now, but then eventually things are going to go back to some kind of pattern.
Right.
But now, at least, even if those aren't the signs that are going to help us in late season, we know what to look for.
Right. Yeah. Yesterday after hunting, I just did a short, like 2.5, 3 hour sit in the morning. I was walking back, which I got turned around somehow, which was funny, and I ended up on the road essentially. I was like, this isn't right. I shouldn't be going closer to the road right now, because there's no way to get to the road from this area because it's way too thick. So I was like, I must have gotten turned around somewhere.
Yeah.
But that was good, because on the way back to the right way to get out, there was a rub that had happened probably the night before.
Really?
Yeah, like right there.
Nice and fresh.
That I found. And I would not have seen that otherwise.
Had you not gotten lost.
Yeah. So I marked that on my map apps, and I'll be back over. There's a nice tree right next to it. Or not right next to it, but 20 yards away from it, which you can set up over the rub, which was good. So I was happy I found that. But yeah, I mean, a month in, I can say it's definitely just been a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
More than anything. I mean, the last one we did in early October, which was I had gone out maybe like 3 or 4 times, that was just a disaster. Like an absolute disaster. I mean, I was using the other stand, the behemoth stand, which I didn't realize was a behemoth at the time.
The behemoth.
I weighed it, and it probably weighed in just around 40 pounds, the whole thing.
I think this is the point where we interject and say it's worth getting a better, if you're going to hunt with a hang and bang, it's not worth buying the Menards $30, $40 one, unless you're just going to hang it up there and leave it, and then change the straps out, every couple of months or something.
Right, and that was the plan, let's either go with like a hand-me-down or a used cheap one, or just a cheap one in general, and make it work for a season, but it is not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're huge. First off, you're huge because your profile is so big because of the platform.
Yeah.
It's heavy and cumbersome. The ratchet straps are horrible when you're trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing is just a bad idea. I mean, I'm like cranking down ring in the morning. Like, everyone's got to hear this. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world.
It seems so amplified, doesn't it, when you're dealing with the ratchet straps?
Like, there's no way that every deer in the woods isn't hearing this right now and be like, yeah, I'm not going to go in that direction.
Yeah.
That sounds weird.
Yeah.
But that was the weird part in the beginning of the season, was just figuring out what to do. So then I got the Lone Wolf stand, the Assault 2, which I'm in love with compared to my other one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much lighter. Like, I can carry it with one hand. I can hold it with one hand on the tree, which I could not do with the other one, and safely secure it, basically.
Yeah.
Like, the other one I had to like bear hug around the tree, hold the strap in my teeth, and then kind of feed it through the ratchet, and then crank it down. This one, I can hold with like a finger against the tree, and then just cinch it around, and it's got the Versa button, so it's super easy.
Yeah.
And then you traded yours out, right?
Yeah, so I swapped mine out too. I think your
tell everyone how you started the season and your progression.
So your comedy of errors is much different from my comedy of errors. Yours are at least new guy figuring it out type of things, where it's like you forget one thing me, I'm trying to retrofit things and get things to work in kind of a fancy mode, and just almost an epic failure the first sit we went out. I was using my tether saddle. I had the Muddy Pro sticks, which are awesome. I still have those. And then I was trying to use the Hawk Hangout tree seat as a platform.
Right.
And it took some jimmying around on the ground, days and days before we went out the first time, to get it to act like a platform rather than a tree seat. Because what would happen is you'd stand on it, and then the top part would pull out, and the seat's located on the top of the post, so it's pulling out away from the tree. That's something you definitely don't want happening, 10, 12, 15, 20 feet up in the air. So the first time we went out, I guess I could tell you the one of the ending parts of it was I ended up getting a text from Chris that said, "I need you to zen the fuck out for a second." So now to rewind, I think it took me about 40 minutes to get just that platform figured out. And granted, I picked the wrong tree at first. I picked a tree that was too big, so I had to get all the way down. I just walked like 10 feet away and got to the right tree.
Well, what was funny was when we went out, I had my big platform at the time.
Yeah, and you were still up fast.
I know, that takes me so long to get into that platform and into that stand, and I was like, it was like 45 minutes I got into it finally.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, how's it looking out there? And you were still going, and then it was another 20 minutes at least before you're into the tree. It's like, yeah. You need to chill out a little bit over there.
Yeah. And once I chilled and I got everything set up, it was fine. It worked good. It took way too much effort to get that thing locked on. I mean, I had 2 ratchet straps on it. I'm camming the entire thing over to get it to lock onto the tree, and that just that lasted that hunt. And then I went out with my dad and my brother, which is another story of this hunt. But if we're just talking about the saddle part. I put the platform up. It took me a lot less time, but then I put it up in the wrong position. Like I just didn't have it in the right position to be able to sit comfortably in the saddle and turn and get a shot where I needed to shoot. So I ended up just flipping the damn seat up, standing on my muddy sticks, and calling it a day, which was fine. I mean, that was good as long as I wasn't wearing my wader boots and I was wearing my thick.
All right, so we'll say that's stage 1.
Yeah, that's stage 1.
All right, so stage 2.
Stage 2. I got rid of the hawk seat, or actually I still have it. I just tossed it aside at this point. And I decided to make a seat after a long discussion with Osborne about, buying a platform, getting one waiting 5 weeks or whatever. I didn't want to wait 5 weeks. So what I did was I found the plans. You had to kind of piece together plans for what were called the Ernie platform off saddlehunter.com. Which is just a post, 2 standoffs, and a lone wolf tree, the seat from the lone wolf assault. Mm-hmm. And I put that together, and it was good. It held really well to the tree and everything. But then I started just getting that. Once I started getting my feet planted well, the saddle just kept bunching up. It was in my way. I had a shot on a buck. And I had to go over the bridge, and I didn't have my body positioned the right way. Ended up missing. It was a huge buck. I mean, biggest buck that I've seen in person, hunting. So at that point, I had gotten down. I think we did one more hunt. You and I did one more hunt. And I got down, and on my way home, I think I put everything up for sale.
I think you put it up for sale in the tree.
Was I in the tree? I was either in the tree or I was on my way home.
Pretty sure on the way home you were like, yeah, I just sold my whatever.
Oh yeah, I did. So as I was standing up there, things were bunching up again, and I was like, I drew back on a small doe, and I really didn't have too much intention on taking a shot. It was more just kind of seeing how I needed to manipulate my body, and it might be a good jam for somebody else, but just wasn't for me.
Yeah. Because
I ended up seeing my body was really twisted, and I like to think I got pretty good form when it comes to shooting. I've worked pretty hard on my my technique and everything, especially over the last year, and I felt like the shooting out of the saddle kind of deteriorated that a little bit, and then I wasn't going to make a good shot.
I mean, the idea of the saddle is it's supposed to be more maneuverable.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just a matter of practice and getting that?
Oh, hands down.
Movement down, and you just don't want to put that time in because you don't get out there often.
I don't have the time to practice that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got, we only have limited amount of time, which is why, we're so many weeks out from recording the last time. So it's like, you can hunt, you can practice to hunt, and you can train because I do the other things. And I was like, something's got to give.
Right.
And honestly, like, I like the hang-on stands. I always intended, before here's a disclaimer, I won that tether saddle. So I wasn't married to the idea, so I didn't have a commitment one way or another to it, which is probably a good review for it, honestly. Because I feel like anybody else who gets one, there might be a little bias because they spent the cash to buy it, and they're like,
and you invested in it, and you want to have positive affirmation that
and it's for
spend your money the right way.
Yeah, and it's probably for most people. There's just probably a subsect of people that it's just not for me, and I'm not their market for that item. But so I sold all that stuff off,
and then you went out with the climb on.
And then I went out with the climb on. I got up at the tree in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
that was a very peaceful walk in and walk out. But that thing, just like what Chris was saying with what you were saying with that Menard stand or that that guide gear stand, it was just so big and lunky.
Yeah.
And it's 22 pounds or something like that, which is fine. I don't mind carrying the weight, but it just felt real lunky walking in. Yeah. And I was like, if I wasn't walking
the walking weight wasn't bad. I mean,
yeah,
that's not the worst problem. The problem
the profile.
The profile's bad, but the problem is just when you're in a tree and you're like trying to hold on to it,
mm-hmm.
and you need 3 hands to use the ratchet strap and hold it.
Yeah.
And like make it comfortable.
And feed that strap through the ratchet strap in cold weather. Just
that's
seems
why the Versa
miserable.
button is huge because I can use that with gloves on and it's just quiet, which is the big thing.
Yeah, there's no cranking down or anything.
Right.
So. But yeah, so I use my climber stand, and I still have my climber stand. I think I'll always hold on to that thing and just keep it in the truck, or have my dad use it or whatever. But with the money that I made from the the pretty penny that I made off the saddle and the platform. Yeah, I bought a XOP Vanish Evo, and the thing is the profile and everything is pretty much the same as the Lone Wolf.
It's pretty much identical. To
yeah,
the
little differences. The post, the post on yours is solid. Mine's this I-beam that's got these
cutouts in it.
I don't know how much of a difference that really makes. Different color.
Yeah.
And then the seat my seat's got a big old cushion. Yours is that thinner one.
And the Lone Wolf has the
the
bow holder.
And the bow holder, yeah. The nice thing, the reason why I didn't go with, I almost went with the Lone Wolf, but the reason why I went with that XOP was because it has the quick attach adapter to it.
Right.
So
you got to deal with that, right? Like the stand and the quick attach was cheaper than the stand itself with the Lone Wolf.
Right. If you go to XOP, actually go check out Bowhunter Chronicles. Check out their Instagram and check out their show. There's maybe a little bit more robust of a podcast than ours. They've been doing it for a little while. But they have a code, so check out their content. They have a code for XOP, and you get a good chunk of change off of an XOP Vanish, it was a really good deal. It was cheaper than Amazon.
Yeah.
Getting both of those together, so that was really cool.
That is good.
But the nice thing about the slot part, they have the bat wing where you can put it on offset trees, but you can take that bat wing off and use this quick attach, where you strap just the strap with the adapter to the tree, and then you slide the I-beam right in.
Right.
And you got 3 slots to compensate for angled trees, which was really cool.
So you've used that the last couple times?
I haven't gotten out in it yet.
Oh, no?
No, because I got it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You just got it in.
2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago.
So that'll be phase 4.
Yeah, phase 4,
right.
section B, subsection 2.
And then you're going to kill a deer for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm bringing it down to Kentucky. And the nice thing is I'm hunting with Braden. Braden has the exact same stand.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of the one who also convinced me to get it too. So we're going to be hunting some just private land out there, which will be a little different of experience than we've had this year. So we can move a little freer out there.
Yeah. But yeah, so equipment issues have been something. I mean, clothing has been pretty easy, I would say.
Yeah.
We had some cold days. Like we had some real cold days.
Uh-huh.
Like I think the coldest morning we were out was in the teens already.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like 17, 18 degrees or whatever.
So that was, that's pretty freezing. Everything handled the weather pretty well. Feet were a little cold one day.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to get around that.
Yeah. Electric socks.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think even those just get the bottom of your feet. I don't think anything can ever get your toes warm.
Yeah, I was looking at my buddy. He has season tickets to the Bears, and he's like, "Yeah, electric socks. I wear them to every game."
Yeah.
It's like keeps my feet warm. I'm like, I'll look into that.
Well, he's standing on concrete too.
Right.
So that probably is a huge difference.
Right. So maybe I'll look into that if it gets much colder. I mean, it's already cold. There's snow on the ground today. It's 17, 18 degrees out right now.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine it's going to get much warmer as the season goes on.
No. Might be a little bit, but it's going to fluctuate. But yeah, I think we're looking at cold from now until January.
Right. So what kind of movement have you seen in your time out on the stand? I mean, you've been out, maybe half a dozen times now?
Yeah, about half a dozen times, maybe a little bit more. I mean, I think there's only one sit where I didn't see a deer, maybe 2. Mm-hmm. One buck, but does, from the time that we went out to, just that little doe that I drew back on actually came around my stand twice, and one time I was dicking with that platform,
Right.
trying to get it, a little bit more, a little small buck or a little doe. And I spooked it up, and it had no idea where the hell I was still. So I was like, oh, at least I know I'm concealed.
Right.
And then he came back, and I drew on him. And that's when I was just like, yeah, that's when I knew that's when the tether took a hike.
Right.
But yeah, no, I pretty much have seen deer every time.
Yeah, I think just the one time, actually.
Yeah.
Because I saw deer one time that you didn't see deer.
Yeah.
But I've not seen deer much more often than that, though.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's probably due to the beginning part of me being a fool out there.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely seen more as the season's gone on, but I've been out probably, let's see,
a lot.
dozen, 15 times.
Yeah, you've gotten out quite a bit.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is embarrassing to say because I haven't killed anything yet. But I have passed on a couple things.
Yeah.
Like I had a shot at another small doe like that, which was just tiny. Didn't want to do that. And then I had one yesterday, which is another doe, which I've been thinking about a lot lately. But I mean, I've seen deer. I saw a big buck about a week ago. It was probably 8-pointer, but it was at 75 yards, and then it came into about 60, 62, and it started walking, and I grunted at it, and I grunted at it again, and then it just was gone.
Just gradually disappeared.
Yeah.
At least you didn't spook it off.
Yeah, it definitely didn't like run away or anything. I wasn't interested in what I was selling at that point. So that was good. I mean, that was the first buck I saw though, and that was like literally November 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, I think I remember those texts. I could probably go look back at the text.
So that was a month in before I saw a buck, and other than that, it was just does all over the place. So I don't know if that was rut time or what, but it was just kind of cruising around the woods looking for something. Other than that, it's just been does.
Yeah, it's probably just starting up then.
And then, yeah, I had an all-day sit. No, I guess that wasn't November 1st. That was just last week. That was the all-day sit, and I mean that was my second all-day sit of the season. The first one was the opening day of the season.
The sweltering heat
that was
flooded.
Miserable. It was like 87 degrees. Yeah, it flooded. Like the whole area was flooded. That was a miserable day. So then I came out, did another all-day sit, which was better, not as miserable.
Mm-hmm.
The morning was good. I saw that buck, and I felt pretty confident in the spot. I had seen a bunch of does there and some fawns earlier, so that was good. And then around 11, some guy in a brown jacket and jeans on a phone was just like wandering around the woods, doing who knows what, just like looking around.
Just hanging
out.
out.
What are you doing, man? Like, yeah, I mean, he definitely wasn't a hunter.
Well, it's closed too. That area. There's the sign.
Is it? No, not.
Oh, not that one. Okay.
That you can just walk around, which is fine. I mean,
it's just the game. It's the name of the game.
If it's public land, if you want to walk there, you're allowed to walk there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm like,
don't be surprised when an arrow goes whizzing over your head.
Well, that's something. I mean, I thought he was a deer at first because it was like a Carhartt jacket, brown with like white shirling.
Yeah.
Hood. I'm like, that looks like a deer with a white tail, like bobbing through the woods.
Jeez.
I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, and he was far at that point. He was probably 60, 70 yards away, and I just saw movement through the woods, and I wouldn't have shot at that obviously, but if this was a muzzleloader season or like a chucking season or something like that, where you can shoot 100 yards with certain guns, that would be a little dangerous.
Yeah, I may not want to be out there at that time.
So at that point, I was like, deciding, should I stay here? Thinking, maybe he's going to move some deer around and they'll come back because he's just wandering around like a yahoo. I texted you, I texted another buddy, I texted my dad, like, should I move? Should I move? What should I do? And you said to move. My other buddy and my dad said to stay.
Yeah.
And then I stayed for like 20 minutes just thinking about it, and then another hunter started setting up like 50 yards away from me.
Oh, really?
And I was like,
did you give him like a whistle or a whoo-hoo?
No, at that point I was just like, screw it. I'm just going to get down and make as much noise as I possibly can getting down out of the stand, despite him, and then I'm going to go far away from here.
Yeah.
So, which, I mean, he didn't know I was there. It's not his fault, and I was probably being a jerk about that, but I should have brought it out.
Well, what time was he setting up at?
That's probably around noon.
It's kind of a weird time to set up.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, maybe he was just super excited to get out there, but I feel like if you commit to the all day sit, you're in the all day sit there.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be in the morning, you get out there, 4. I mean, we get out there 4.
Right.
In the afternoon it's like 2, 3 o'clock, but noon's a weird time to unless he was moving from another spot. I guess
maybe
get back.
maybe.
So maybe he was moving from another spot too. So
I
that's
mean, because I moved at the same time. I moved to a different spot too because of him. So I don't know. Maybe he got bumped out by somebody else.
Everyone's bumping each other.
Domino effect. So then I went to another spot and I didn't hear or see anything until the end of the day, and I'm pretty sure I hallucinated seeing a deer in the brush. Like I would have sworn I saw antlers moving through like just bushes and stuff, and I could not confirm that now.
Yeah.
I'm like looking, I'm like, is that deer? Is that deer?
Were you just looking? Were you using your binoculars, or your rangefinder or anything?
Initially I was just regular eyes, and then I was trying to look with my binoculars and do it, and I couldn't see anything, and like I swore that was a deer moving through, but I was like, that's probably just my mind playing tricks on me.
Or the guy with the brown coat again.
Yeah, or the guy with the brown coat. So I didn't see anything. So yeah, I mean I was out there from 4 to 5:15 that day, 4 in the morning to 5:15. So that was a long day.
Yeah.
And I only saw I saw a buck in the morning, but it was too far. So that was a rough one. And then, I think I'll probably just be doing short sits from here on out, unless I can find another random day to take off that it looks like a good day for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But the morning sits are probably the way to go. The problem is now it seems like there's just stuff moving all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a problem. It's a good thing. There's stuff moving all the time, so you never know when you're going to see something.
Yeah, I think back now, like at now that we're definitely like in the rut now, whereas we could sit and be stationary for the whatever it would be, a long sit, short sit, or if you sit the same spot morning and evening, because it's just random activity.
Right.
Things are chasing each other all over the place, and you hear that in every other podcast. But I think what we started kind of talking about this a little bit, but once it starts getting the late season, I think one of the things we might want to do is start looking to see if we can see some sign again. Yeah. Try to figure out try to pattern deer the best we can, and just move.
I can't wait for late season because it's thick where we go.
Yeah.
Like there is brush everywhere that I can't see through.
And it's like 2 levels of brush. There's like on the ground, and then there's like actually about 3. Way up top, and then like somewhere in the middle there'll be
middle canopy.
Yeah. That's why I put a Hui Man on my Amazon wish list.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, forget this. I need a Hui Man.
So it's been really hard. Like I was talking to my dad, and he's like, "Why can't you need to cut some shooting lanes?" And I'm like, "I can't cut all this. Like there's these bushes and shrubs and like small trees that are 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
That I'm above, and I can see over them. But if a deer's in there, I can't see it.
Yeah. And it's tough to figure out when you're looking down. Or when you're looking up from the ground.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited for the leaves to fall.
Yeah.
And to be able to see a bit, because it's definitely getting a bit easier now. Dog's in here now. She just got spayed and she's not very happy about it. It's very needy.
We have some spots where that we found that are good. They have some good lanes to them. Right. But now you're starting to find some of the sign, and it's a matter of figuring spots figuring out trees to sit in to sit above.
That's what the other day we were sitting in one of our spots that we'd been a few times, and you had seen that big buck there. And that was the main reason for being back in that area, basically. And I hadn't seen anything there. And I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. So one day I got down and just started scouting, and I found this whole other area that we didn't really even know about. Where there was so much more sign. I mean, there was scrapes on the ground all over the place. There was rubs. There was poop. There's definitely a coyote in there.
Yeah.
That I saw had eaten a bird of some kind, and then there was definitely coyote poop right next to it.
Yeah.
So that was definitely in there, and then there's trail cameras all over the place. I think I ran into
were there really
3 or 4 trail cameras in there.
Yeah.
So other people obviously know about this area too, but that's fine. I mean,
Good.
I mean, it probably means that there's deer there
Yeah.
if they've been there before us, and I mean we don't really know the area that well yet, so
No.
we're just getting into that. So yeah, yesterday I was out and I felt good because it was snowing and it was pretty cold, and it's rut obviously. So I got set up. I went in a little later than usual. I mean I didn't leave until 4. I got in the tree at like 5:15.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I was just tired and didn't feel like waking up super early.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in there. There's a different spot, so access was a little bit trickier. I was probably a little louder than I usually would have been to knowing where to go. And got up into the tree and was sitting, and it was pretty much daylight 40 minutes after I got up completely.
Yeah.
And a doe came running through. So I was, I was facing like, well, my tree stand was sitting southbound, basically. I was facing north. I was looking behind me, and doe came running in, and it paused. Like came trotting in. It paused. I heard it. I looked at it. It paused. It looked backwards, and I was like, "There's definitely something chasing this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it would be moving this fast otherwise." So, like, I saw it come in. I grabbed my bow, it paused, and I like started to draw, and then I stopped, because I was thinking, there's definitely a buck coming in if it's chasing it like this.
Yeah.
And then it turned back around and like trotted off again, and then nothing. And I was pissed at myself because like, I should have just taken that shot, I think. If a buck would have come in anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping. But I don't know. I've heard mixed feelings about this. They're like, you're probably smart and waiting. If a buck was coming in, that would have been an easy shot. I mean,
Yeah.
It came in at 20 yards, so it was the easiest shot I could have had.
Yeah. Well, it's hindsight's 20/20.
Right.
But you systematically approached it though. That was the good.
Well, I
part.
felt good. Like I didn't feel like crazy. Like I didn't feel like I had buck fever. Granted,
Mm-hmm.
It was a doe, so I don't know if doe fever is less impactful than buck fever is. But
Yeah.
I was like, all right, doe came in. I saw it. I was like, that's a doe. It's a shooter. It was a big doe. Like
Management doe.
yeah. I like reached down onto that helpful lone wolf area that holds my bow on my stand, and I grabbed it. It was quiet, and I got everything ready to go. Got my release hooked up into the D loop,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, do I want to pull back on this or do I not want to?
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought there was something else coming,
Yeah.
and I didn't. And I should have just done it. I mean, it would have been easy. It was broadside to me at 20 yards. I mean, there were some branches, but it would have been easy.
Yeah.
And
Because you shoot a fixed blade too.
right. And I just trotted off, and then I was like, well, shit. I really should have just made that shot right there, and I didn't.
Yeah. I've heard people say that like when you see a deer, you know whether you want to shoot it as soon as you see it,
Yeah.
and like that's your determinant. And they've gone even further to say like, they haven't shot at things and regretted it, but at that moment they were just like, that's not one that I want to shoot.
Well, that's what it felt like. Like it just seemed like there was something else that I wanted.
Yeah.
At the time, and I'm definitely not waiting for a buck to be my first deer or
Mhm.
anything like that. That has no bearing on what I'm going for. I mean, it's definitely a meat thing that I'm going for this season.
Mm-hmm.
I figure I can go after, quote unquote trophy deer later
Yeah.
in my life as
Yeah.
I get more acclimated to hunting in general.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely one I would have shot. I mean, it was good size. That would have been a lot of meat.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem like it just wasn't right. Like if it was slowly walking and then like was grazing or something like that, it would have been an easy decision.
But his behavior was telling you something different.
Yeah, I mean, it was moving. It was like it looked scared. Maybe scared isn't the word, but it looked like
Excitable.
yeah, excitable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there's something else that's out there.
Yeah.
That's doing this to this.
At least that's the thing though. Like you were looking at it, like I said before, like systematically. Like you're like, okay, like you're like assessing the situation. You saw their behavior. You're watching it, and you made the call that there might be something coming, and there still could have been.
Yeah.
It probably just
And who
maybe
knows if
saw
I was
you.
doing right. I mean, no, it definitely didn't see me. Like it looked in my direction.
No, I mean the buck.
Buck, yeah, maybe. Yeah, it was just weird. It was excitable. I mean, I don't even know if I know what I'm looking at yet. It just didn't seem calm. Like the small doe that I saw, like I had no idea I was there. It's just going about its business.
Yeah.
Eating, kind of sniffing around.
Mm-hmm.
It's slow, not excitable looking at all.
Yeah.
And this one's jumpy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe another hunter had bumped it, or there was a coyote, or the buck, or whatever it was. But yeah, did not take that shot. Which I was just like, I should have sent an arrow. But
next time.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I would have done anything different next time. That's the thing. It's like if it was in the same situation, I would have to make that same call really quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it all happened probably within 35 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was like, it just looked like something else might have been coming along, which I probably would have waited again. So I don't know. We'll see. But there's a lot out there yesterday. I mean, the snow brought things out. It was like squirrel heaven out there. There was a fat ass squirrel on the tree next to me that was just like staring right at me, stretching, which was weird. Skunk walked by.
Turkey.
Yeah, and oh my god, that turkey was huge.
Yeah.
The beard on this thing had to have been like 8 inches long, it looked like.
Yeah, see, that must have been that definitely was a different turkey than the one that I saw. 'Cause I saw a skinny little guy running down the road.
This guy was huge, and I thought it was I thought that was a skunk at first because it was black and like kind of slinking through the woods quietly. But
Yeah.
I saw it, and I mean that thing was huge. It was the biggest turkey I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In person, at least. And I know I haven't hunted turkey, but I've seen a lot of turkey.
Yeah, and it didn't see you. That was the cool part because their vision's really good.
Yeah, I mean it was far away. It wasn't shooting distance. It was probably 50 yards. But
The one I saw was probably about 80 yards, and it saw me clear as day. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
in the saddle.
that thing was huge. So saw some does cruising like from far away. Like there's no way I was calling them in.
Yeah.
But the one doe that came into shooting range didn't make the shot on. But it happens.
Yeah. Well, we learned a lot. I mean, just in these last month and a half or so.
Yeah.
Like just learning just a whole ton. This is the most I've ever learned in a season, and it's been the most fun season I've had. Just because I mean, you and I are kind of supplementing things together, complementing things together. Where if I fall short on something, you've usually figured it out. If you've
yeah, well, it's definitely been helpful. I mean, my learning curve has been very steep.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've figured a lot of stuff out very quickly.
Yeah.
My problem is we both, like, you've hunted before, but we're both learning what to do in terms of, like, public land hunting.
Yeah, that's a whole new ball game.
Because even just figuring out how to get in, where to go, what sign to look for, that's all new. And then it's hard to hunt and scout at the same time.
Yeah.
Without feeling like you're messing stuff up.
Yeah.
Like the area you saw your bucks, like I'd like to go past that into that pasture behind that.
Yeah.
And kind of look around.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm afraid to go and do that and like go early in the morning and not know where I'm going and then just mess up.
Yeah.
Sit for the day.
I think that's the only way that we're gonna learn though. Is.
Yeah, and it's just trial and error, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But something will walk by again.
Yeah, eventually. But yeah, I think we need to start getting a little deeper into there because we're pretty close to to where we park. It's a good spot, but we definitely got to get in a little deeper.
Right. Yeah, so there's a few spots now that we found that there's been deer in. I mean, I bumped deer out of a few places that I know of, and you've seen a few bucks, which is good because you saw when you shot at that buck. You saw 3 of them, right?
So Britt, my brother, he was on the other side, the other corner of the field, which I ranged it the other day. It was about 225 yards, corner to corner.
Yeah.
So I was in the opposite corner, and he shot at one buck that was traveling with 3 other bucks.
Right.
They were just all hanging out together.
Yeah.
He missed at 25 yards because he's blind. His vision's terrible.
Really?
Yeah, his vision is absolutely terrible. He just squints at everything. So he didn't have an excuse. And then it ran towards me, and that's when I took the shot at it. My shot was at 40 yards, and that was not ranging it. That was like eyeball ranging it. And I guessed it right because I ranged it afterwards.
Did you go high?
No, I shot behind him.
Was it moving?
Slightly, but not enough that arrow going behind him would have been just because of him moving. I think because like I said before, it was like an over the bridge shot, and I was
canted weird or something.
My whole body was canted really weird. I was shooting like on an angle, like I was leaning forward, had my elbow rested on the bridge, which is like this am steel bridge. It's just stuff which is in my way.
Right.
I just I like being untethered.
Right.
So.
The anti-plug.
Yeah, the anti-plug. It's nothing against that product at all. It just wasn't for me. I'm not going to slam it because guys like Walter and them from Chasing Tales and Adam from Bowhunter Chronicles.
Yeah, people swear by them.
Yeah, they use it and they love them. It's for the areas that they hunt and for their style. Perfect. Like it's for most people's style probably. Once you figure it out, but just not me.
Yeah. So we've had an interesting first month of the season.
Yeah.
We're kind of in the rut now. I'm going to be out another 2 days this week. It seems to be like I get 3 days a week to hunt.
Yeah, that's just good.
Which is not bad.
Yeah.
And it's only from sunrise is at 6:20 now, 6:20 to 9 most of the time. Mm-hmm. But it's not bad.
Yeah,
we've had some stuff.
We've had no near-death experiences in the tree stands at all.
Yep.
Well, on the way there.
You spun your truck out on the way.
Yeah, there. I got a little spun out on the way there one morning. It's because of snow and sleet and everything. But yeah, other than that, we've been pretty safe. So.
Yeah, no problems.
No problems there.
Hopefully the next one that we record, who knows when that'll be, we'll have something to show for it.
Yeah.
Which would be nice, but.
Well, you're getting out this weekend sometime, right? Talking Illinois Public Land, right?
I don't know this weekend, Wednesday and Friday.
Or this week, so Wednesday and Friday you'll be out on the Illinois Public Land, and then I'm heading down to Kentucky.
Right.
So Friday, Saturday, will be all Kentucky private land, and then Monday, either Monday morning or Monday evening, we'll be back here, public land.
Cool.
So
yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, maybe I might do the evening.
Yeah, I done an all day one, but I've been doing mornings more.
Yeah, I might switch
evening
it up.
one would be fun.
Yeah, because I gotta get my car in for a emissions test too.
There you go.
I gotta take care of some shit because otherwise.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, with school and you have your family and work and my work and hunting, like there's very limited amount of time to do other things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do I want to be? We've been pretty delinquent on our recording.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I want to be hunting or do I want to be recording? And
yeah,
I'd much rather be hunting.
That's why I mean, we've just kind of left it for a little while and figured we'll just update people as we go. But I mean, this year particularly, like even with my family and everything, like my wife has been really cool about like when I'm going hunting. She's just like we put everything on the calendar, so like kind of we kind of sketch it out, what the week looks like and everything. And she's pretty cognizant of making plans around like when I'm gonna go hunting because I think she's figured out like us talking about it more. She's figured out that it's not this ever long season of it's got a pretty short.
Well, my wife's not too happy about it still. I mean, when I wake up at 3 a.m. to get ready, she wakes up, and the dog wakes up, and then she doesn't get back to sleep till like 4:30.
Yeah.
So her sleep schedule's been a little off.
Yeah.
So I hear about that, but the morning hunts are definitely because of her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's easy for me to be gone while she's sleeping, and then my work's pretty flexible. I can be on my phone at 9 in the car working, and then that's like a regular day for me.
Yeah.
Which is good, but the evening things for her she does not like because then that takes away from family time.
Yeah.
So the mornings are the way to go.
Yeah.
That Friday evening sit we did that did not go over well. Didn't get back to like 8 o'clock. She's like, "You missed the whole night." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, all right, I'll go mornings now. Don't worry." So hopefully the next episode we have won't be so far along, and we'll have some good news to report. But we're gonna be.
Yeah. Well, we got some. We'll have some good news, and hopefully some guests. Like hopefully we can get JT on.
Yeah.
Because JT Bouchard out in New York has gotten 1 buck, 2 does, and a black bear so far this season.
Love to hear about that.
Yeah, because he just started hunting for Redneck Rising TV, so he's filming for them and everything. So he's been pretty hush-hush about what he has and hasn't gotten on film, because I'm sure like the Redneck Rising guys are going to do all the editing.
Right.
So he's just collecting the film, but
cool.
We'll get him on eventually. And then the guys from Bowhunter Chronicles have been pretty successful this year. Just a whole lot of other things. But.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about the Kentucky hunt. So
It won't be filmed.
That's okay.
Yeah, I've given up on filming.
Just get something. get a nice Kentucky buck or doe.
Yeah.
Bring some meat home.
Exactly.
But yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited about the season. I've gone through ebbs and flows of emotions, frustration, and excitement, but I'm still excited.
Yeah. I'm excited about late season.
Yeah, me too. I'm much more looking forward to that, I think.
You know, and I think getting up, moving around will accomplish two things. One, will put us on deer probably.
Yeah.
And two, stop us from freezing our asses off.
You think so?
Yeah, that's kind of the plan.
Hopefully.
So
We'll see. But, let us know if you have any tips or tricks for us on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to reach us right now. And as always, like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. And happy hunting.